The next game is between France and of course Peru. Obviously, one of the biggest games you'll be expecting, because both teams play quite an exciting soccer, especially with the Peruvian national team. They have an identity of playing from the back, and they are quite excellent. Now, all those players that are all those outfield players of the Peruvians, they are quite very good with the ball. They are very skillful, technically gifted. That is also said of the French national team. So it tells us that we are going to witness a very exciting game, if not going to be the best game that we've seen so far. Based what we saw between Spain and Portugal, I think that this game is going to be one of the best games we are going to see in the World Cup. Now, what is your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, as I said earlier on before this point, that this is one of the most difficult groups in the World Cup.
Group C.
In Group C, because we now have a fixture, that is the Peruvians coming up against France. The French national side, I mean, on paper, this should have been a straightforward win for France.
An easy peasy for them.
Easy one. I mean, some 6-0, 5-0 defeats of the Peruvians. Because, I mean, when you look on paper, the lineup looks superb. You look at the names being presented to us. It's amazing. The likes of Hugo Lloris, the likes of N'Golo Kante, Paul Pogba. I mean, it's a dream midfield, having Paul Pogba and N'Golo Kante pairing up in a midfield.
Blaise Matuidi in
the likes
addition.
of Matuidi also in addition. I mean, it's a dream midfield. You have everything. You have the flair. You have the energy.
Finesse, the energy, the power.
Everything is in it. I mean, people who can strike from afar, dribble, tackle, intercept balls, win area balls. Everything is in that midfield. But I mean, this World Cup goes beyond the stuffs on paper. I mean, the tactics on paper. Because when you have the Peruvians, who I believe after 36 years of returning to the World Cup, they want to prove a point. Because, you know, they were part of the early missionaries of the World Cup. I mean, when you go to the 1930s and also the 40s, the Peruvians were playing the World Cup then, and they even got the first red card of the World Cup. It was a Peruvian player, so that should tell you that they have a history in the World Cup, even though they've been absent in recent years. So they would want to prove a point as they've returned in this World Cup. And you know, quite rightly in their opening game against the Danish side, they did prove that point. But the final touch, which let them down. So in this game against France, they would want to go the extra mile of giving us that final touch to give maybe a goal or maybe 2 goals to be able to, I mean, at least also get a draw out of this game against the French national team. Because, I mean, we saw France against Australia. This French side is not that superb of a side, which will be impossible for the Peruvians to get a draw. I mean, it's possible because even the Australians were able to hold them for 80 minutes till that second goal came in. So I believe it's going to be a crunch one, a very tough one, very, very tough one.
It's going to be a very, very tough one. But statistics are against the Peruvians, because the French national team have played quite a number of games against South American teams, and then they are yet to be defeated. 7 games against them, they are yet to taste defeat. Don't you think it's very, very scary on the part of the Peruvians to come up against such a formidable side, playing 7 matches against South American teams? Now, the last time they lost a game against a South American team was way back in 1978. That was against Argentina. So from 1978 to now, that's about 30 to 40 years ago. So it tells us that the French national team are formidable against the South Americans. You can cast your mind back to 1998, where they trashed a mighty Brazil by 3-0, and then they saw them in the quarterfinal of 2006, and they defeated them once again. So don't you think this is going to be very easy for them against the Peruvian national team that don't really have the aura, let me say, the mighty men to distract the French national team?
Well, you see, at the World Cup, the biggest stages, most of these stats
don't really count.
They don't really count. They are, let me put it as trash at the biggest stage, because we saw on 2 days ago when the Polish guys came against Senegal. I mean,
they were yet to lose against an African side.
But you are talking about a hungry Senegalese side, and they defied all the odds.
But you are talking about a French side that have been part of the World Cup since time immemorial. They are a very good side. We've seen them win the World Cup once in '98, and then also in 2006 they were in the finals. And then although they've lost a little bit of bite at the World Cup stages, but hey, this is the French national team we are talking about.
You see, one issue I have with the French side is the team itself. The team itself.
As in the composition of the team.
The composition of the team itself. It has too many young guys. It looks like this is not their time yet, because you look through the team and then the likes of Umtiti, the likes of Pava, the likes of Lucas Hernandez. These are all youngsters. likes of Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, Nabou Fekir. These are all youngsters. They are all youngsters, and most of them are playing their first World Cup.
Certainly.
Even though they've started hitting their peak, they are not yet there. So they do have the quality names alright, but how to be able to gel together, because these players, one, are not at their peak. Two, they are very, very inexperienced, because when Kylian Mbappe was playing at the Euros in 2016, that was his first major tournament. So I mean, and most of them also have not played at the World Cup before.
Never.
So they are very inexperienced.
The exception of Griezmann, Matuidi, Pogba,
Hugo Lloris. I mean, some of them have played before,
yes.
but the majority of them haven't.
They are debutants at the World Cup.
And also, you see, this Peruvian national team, even though they haven't played at the World Cup, they are quite an experienced side.
They played together for a very long time, so they have the gel, the connection.
Exactly. And with the return of their captain,
Paulo Guerrero,
it's an extra boost to the Peruvian national team, because once you see your captain, I mean, coming back after
so it's the Ronaldo of Peru.
Exactly. And even that alone, seeing him alone on the pitch is motivation enough for the players to fight on, because you know this game that they are playing against the French national team, it is not a match, it is a war. They are into fights, because they know that on paper the French are way above them. I mean, the French will just set them into pieces on paper. So what they have to do is to fight. So every Peruvian moving into this game is moving in with a spirit to go and fight out for 90 minutes and get at least a draw to be able to hold themselves in the group a little bit, to elongate their World Cup.
Stay in the World Cup.
Exactly, because I mean the likes of Egypt and Morocco and Iran,
they have already been booted out. Saudi Arabia is also
Arabia.
so 3 Arabian countries have already been booted out.
So as of now, it is dependent on you. Either avoid the defeat and stay.
Because had Australia lost, they would have also joined the party going home.
Exactly. So they know that it is a fight for them. It is a war for them.
So make or break for them.
Make or break. And I tell you that their captain is motivation enough for them to fight, because you know, let me send you to a little bit of this. In the ancient times, the times of war, when an army is going and then maybe the leader isn't very fit or very sick, or maybe the leader isn't around, you see the army will be down. But once they get sight of the leader,
so they want to see the commander.
Exactly. Once they get sight of him, just even coming from the chance to even hear from people,
them. It gives them the energy, the vibe.
Exactly. So it is motivational enough for the team to fight, because this is a fight. It is a war. It is not a game. It is a war. So the captain returning himself, that is the biggest inspiration for the Peruvians to go in and fight this match against the French nationals.
Now you are talking about the Peruvians going to this game to go and fight and get the 3 maximum points, but do you have to deal with an informed player at tournament stages, or better still at major tournaments? You are making specific mention of Antoine Griezmann. This is a player who has 7 goals and 2 assists at major tournaments, plus the Euro 2016 he played at. Now, if you have such a player who is so much in hot red form, coming off the back that he did very well, making sure Atletico Madrid won a silverware before the season went off, how would they be able to deal with such a figure up front? Because if you would cast your mind back, he was the one who won the man of the match against the Danish national team, Australians rather.
So you know, Griezmann, as you rightfully said, is one man who gets his peak, or he gets his form, he gets his fire at major tournaments. In Euro 2016, we saw because we thought Pogba would have lived up to expectation. He flopped. I mean, and Griezmann lived up. I mean, even in Euro 2016, the fire was lighted up by Dimitri Payet, and then Griezmann picked it up later in the tournament, and then went on to the final. But in this competition, he has lighted the flame himself. So you see, you lighting up the flame and then picking it up is 2 different things. Maybe you don't get me, but him starting and then continuing in that fire, like the way Ronaldo started and he's still continuing that mood. Exactly. It is very difficult, because this is a side which is star-started. Anyone can start, anyone can continue. So for Griezmann, it seems that he has to keep his focus. He has to keep his focus in order to maintain his top form, because once he starts and then he is not that focused. I mean, this team is star-started. And the likes of Ousmane Dembele are on the bench, Nabou Fekir are all on the bench, and they are all attackers. They can equally replace you. So I mean, he has to keep his focus. But to the Peruvian side, looks like to be very difficult to do with Antoine Griezmann.
Because it's not the static striker
Exactly.
or the static attacker that you expect him to be at one position. Because he can move to the extent of join the midfield. That is how good Antoine Griezmann can be.
Exactly. So it's going to be very difficult for them to do with him. But as I said earlier on, it is a war. And at a war, or in a war, you approach every opponent with fury. So you have to approach them. I mean,
so you are expecting Antoine Griezmann to be bullied?
He will surely be bullied by the Peruvians. I mean, they will have to go into fight. So you have to go in very strong fury. So once he gets into a place, you knock him out 1 time, 2 times, he won't go there again. I mean, it's normal human instinct.
Now talking of Antoine Griezmann being bullied, there is another striker in the person of Olivier Giroud, who is physically imposing. He's good in the air. His build-up play is very good. Sneaker play is excellent. Now we saw their combination, Antoine Griezmann and Olivier Giroud, at the Euro 2016. It was very excellent, especially from the round of 16 onwards. It was to that extent that the finals they decided to fill and they didn't get a goal. But this time around, Olivier Giroud is replacing Ousmane Dembele, which is going to give us an effect of maybe Olivier Giroud operating as the main centre man, and of course Antoine Griezmann is going to be the supporting striker. Now with this perfect combo, you said Antoine Griezmann can be bullied, but what of the additional quality of Olivier Giroud? Because if you have someone who is very big, very confident on the ball, can support you, can shield the ball, don't you think that it's going to go in a negative effect of the Peruvians?
You see, this is why I even applaud the coach, that is
Deschamps,
for including Olivier Giroud, because if you would even monitor in this World Cup, most of the teams with very lanky, tall strikers,
barely strikers, they are the ones. It's true,
the ones
because Artem Zuba of the
Exactly.
Russians, excellent. Diego Costa, Spain, excellent.
And even if you check for the Uruguays, Edison Cavani has been amazing. Even though he doesn't score, he gets most of the balls down for Luis Suarez, who does the damage with his
just as he did
skills
yesterday.
and pace. Exactly. So I mean, these tall, lanky strikers are proving to do the do at this tournament. So if you have, I mean, a player in the shape of Olivier Giroud, then he is your man to use in a game where you are coming up in a team who are in for a fight. Because I mean, the Peruvian coach even said is that the
Ricardo Gareca.
he said it point blank that the French national team are stronger than they are. He knows that on paper they will surely be defeated. So all they have in their mind is to fight. So you need men to face the war. And I don't think if you had gone with the attack of Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, and then Antoine Griezmann,
They are quite tiny for their stature, so they won't survive.
They would have all been bullied up front there. So you need a man to pick up those balls. The man who, when he's pushed around, will stand on his ground, able to pick up the balls for your men, your tricky men, who will be able to dangle their way through the penalty box and also get the attacks for the French national team. So I think the Giroud inclusion is very good for the French national team. It might even prove to be the super difference in this game.
So the X factor of the game. Now let's also jump ship and move to the Peruvian national team. Now this is a side that lost unfortunately or unluckily against the Danish national team, because they had numerous chances and then even missing from the penalty spot. Now if you were to be in their team as in the head coach or part of the technical team, how would you psych their minds so that they will be in tune to get the 3 maximum points? Most especially Christian Cueva, someone who missed the penalty, can affect his general play from the second match going forward. And if care is not taken, it will be the starting point of a disaster for the Peruvians.
Well, you see, Godwin, these Peruvians going into this game, I tell you, they don't need psyche.
You don't need psyche. You are very sure of that?
They don't need psyche. I'm telling you, this match is not a game. It is a war for them. So, I mean, with warriors on the ground ready to fight, I don't think they even need...
So you are saying they are ready soldiers?
They are
ever ready?
They are already psyched up for the game. And they are in for a fight. So you just watch the game and then you see what I'm talking about. How to play with passion and also, I mean, be on the French national guys. This is a war. I'm telling you, you will do nothing.
Now, okay, fine. Now, if you are Ricardo Gareca, let's take away the fact that maybe your boys don't need to be psyched up. But what sort of formation should you go out there in the game so that or what sort of game strategy should you have to outwit the French national team? Because we saw how the Australians played. they soak pressure and then hit them on the counter attack, and then they had a goal in the game until that moment of goal line technology that gave the French national team a 2-1 victory. But other than that, the French national team, they were drab, they were not okay in the day. So if you are the Peruvian coach Ricardo Gareca, what sort of game approach would you apply to this game?
You see, Godwin, they are facing a French national team who are started several times. You can't open up in such a game because they will destroy you.
But here lies the case: the Peruvians have an identity to play attractive football, a good brand of passing, knock the ball around, and then make sure you get into the opponent's half. They don't balloon the balls like that.
You see, when if you think you are very good at passing, are you a better passer than Paul Pogba? I mean,
That's
French,
a good question.
these French guys are best at what they do. So you can't play with them and try to outplay them at what they are best at doing. No, it's never possible. So I believe the best option is to soak their pressure, because I mean we saw even what the Icelandic guys did against Argentina. I mean, it was super play. They didn't balloon the balls anyhow.
No,
they built from the back. They soak the pressure and then build up and get the goals. So I believe if the Peruvians are very good at playing the football, then there is no need to open up and then create a lot of spaces for the French guys to exploit. No, you need to close them up, because you see, when you are in a game where you need to fight, you need men to do the tackling. And when you are tackling these French guys, when you go on a 1v1 tackling, I mean, they'll dribble in almost all of them. I mean, likes of Paul Pogba, Griezmann, Mbappe, these guys,
they have dancing feet.
Exactly. I mean, they'll just use you within 5 microseconds.
You won't survive against them.
You won't even know where you are. So when you go on 1v1 position, they will certainly destroy you. So you need to go them against maybe two guys on a player. And when you are doing, you are tackling in such a way, and then you are tackling on every part of the pitch, maybe 2 on a 1. You're going to create a lot of spaces in you. So what you need to do is to just, soak the pressure in your half. You tackle them when they get into your half, when they are nearing your final third. You tackle them 2-3-3, and they won't find. You see, one thing that you can also use to your advantage is that when you pack the men at your back, your opponent will be forced to also move their men up front. And when both teams have a lot of men over there, that final third becomes very clumsy, and it is very difficult to operate when in a very clumsy pitch. So you realize that when you pressure them, or when you tackle them in a very clumsy area, they will not even find spaces to even dribble and do their stuffs. So they will be forced to retreat. And anytime they are at a fault in that final third, you just pick the ball and hit them on the counter attack. It's very easy. That is why I say they are Icelandic team, because that is what they do. They won't pressure you in your half. No, they relax for you to get into their half. They pressure you, pick the ball, build up, and then they are gone. So within 5 seconds, they've already built up, and then they are launching an attack. And it's very amazing football to play. And I think the Peruvians can adopt such a tactic in this game against the French national team. They can beat them.
They can beat them. Now, if they can beat them, it is hinged around the performance of Paulo Guerrero. Now, Paulo Guerrero against 2 defenders in the mode of Rafael Varane and then Samuel Umtiti, who plays for Barcelona. Now, in the midfield, you also have N'Golo Kante. Now, if N'Golo Kante is sitting in front of that defense, how will Paulo Guerrero survive against N'Golo Kante first, now Samuel Umtiti, and then Rafael Varane?
You see, when you are playing against a team which have all these men, you don't need to attack them much. That is why I was saying that they don't need to open up, because when you open up and play your normal style, then you are playing to the team of the French national team. Because you have a certain N'Golo Kante who, when you say you are a very possessive and you play possessive style of play, you can break your attack at any time. We have seen the kind of interceptions N'Golo Kante does
in the Premiership.
I mean, mind-boggling ones. You won't understand how he was able to get there, but by the time you realize he's there, sometimes he's behind you, and by the time you realize the ball is out of your feet, he has taken it. So if you decide to play your comfortable game and then try to possess and do everything, these Frenchmen will surely overshadow you. So they need to soak the pressure. And you see, when they are soaking the pressure, these guys, the likes of N'Golo Kante, they will all be concentrated on attacking. Because you have seen even Kante at Chelsea sometimes.
Yes.
He does tend to
the
attack.
More pack, and
Exactly.
sometimes moves forward.
Exactly. Even against Manchester United where he got a goal. I mean, he scored a goal in the penalty box. N'Golo Kante. Yeah, so when you sort of give them the freedom to operate, that is when the Peruvians give the French guys the freedom to operate. You see, it's getting to their head. Football is a game which deals a lot with your psyche. So when it gets much into their head, they will all be feeling very, very jittery to attack. Then you hit them with one break, you hit them and then you say that the whole team will be
just kill them up.
Exactly. So I think it will be the best plan for the Peruvians to adapt to hit this French national team and Scotland.
And it will be in favor of their captain, that's Paulo Guerrero, because he's quite big and then can hold that play, can link up play with Christian Cueva, and then also Flores and a couple of other good guys who are very good with their feet. Now, a couple of viewpoints from our fans over there. Now, France get the team is speaking pidgin and can make it work on the field. Griezmann and Giroud be nice pairing with Pogba at the wings. I think the team is good to go. Okay, that is according to Di Michele, former player of Argentina, not him. That's his nickname, that's the name he's using. And also, India Armah says that France national team are going to whitewash the Peruvians by 2-1. That is according to him. That's what he thinks over there. So, on that particular one, now we pick your predictions before we leave as soon as possible because the game's about starting.
Godwin, as I said, I can't say point blank the scoreline. It's very difficult.
Go to the Yomo because the Yomo has been helping. The Oracle has been helping you. So because you've had your predictions quite correctly. So why are you backing off?
It's very difficult to see the correct scoreline in the pot. I mean, I can tell you the prediction in terms of
the results and not the scoreline.
Yes,
okay, so give us the results.
Yes. I'm seeing the French guys coming on top in this game, even though the Peruvians are in favor. But I would want the Peruvians to score because we are told it's a certain Nisu Casati who is a Peruvian model, and then she takes up the top anytime the Peruvians score.
So you want to see it available?
You want the Peruvians. I mean, everyone is rooting for the Peruvians to score. Just go on Twitter and then just type Peru, and then you will see everyone rooting for them to score. Maybe 3 goals for Peru won't be bad.
3 goals, and then we'll see more things. So
yes. So I mean, we will want the Peruvians to score, but I think the French guys will come on top at the end of the game because I mean, the quality is there, and I don't think the Peruvians will even be adopting the tactics I'm even talking about. They will try to open up and then play to their best. But I think the French guys will come on top at the end of the game to win it.
So okay, those were the comments of Dennis. He thinks that the French national team with Les Bleus will be able to record their second win and probably qualify from that particular group. So on that score, my name is Godwin Nii Armah Tagoe, and I have an unwavering passion for sports. In the meantime and in between time, like I always say, hasta manana.